I ask him, help me not mess this up. That's what I say every time, Like, sometimes, I don't even ask him to fix it. You know what I mean? It's like I could ask him to glue the pieces together. No, just help me hold on. That's what I ask him. Just help me hold on long enough where I know that these guys are gonna be okay.
Most people know James Raiz as the box office artist behind Marvel Studios' biggest hits. The energetic host of Time to Draw Live with over 1 million YouTube subscribers. But behind the viral videos and sold-out shows, James faced a change that would redefine everything he thought he knew about strength. Sometimes we choose change, and sometimes change chooses us. When James was riding the highest wave of his career, life delivered news that would test every prayer, every belief, every promise he'd made to hold his family together. I'm Aliu Garcia Pablo, and you're listening to Making Changes from INC Media Audio, a podcast about the changes we go through and the life lessons we learn along the way, but always with God by our side. Well, hello, James.
Hi.
How's your voice?
It's getting there. Recovering.
I know. You had a really fun and crazy weekend.
Absolutely did. We came to San Jose and did the Time to Draw live show over there for the kids. And whenever I do a Time to Draw live, I just give everything.
You do. You give like 200%.
Yes, I give us, the kids, especially the districts, they work so hard to put in the event. I try to give as much as I can when I'm there. But the downside is my voice is usually gone for the week. We're filming,
the week?
Yeah, for the week. Now, we filmed this a couple of days later. I thought I was okay on the day of. And then I know so it got worse on the Sunday. And then yesterday, my voice was like gone. I could not talk.
I know. You were texting me. I was like, no, please don't speak the rest of the day. Because we need your voice for the Making Changes podcast. But look, I know we've known each other for a long time. You're a really good friend of mine. And, really, I'm so honored to have you here at the table, Making Changes table. But I know you're a busy guy. You came from a gig before coming here, right?
Yes.
For YouTube.
Yes.
You collabed with a YouTuber.
Yes.
So even your trip here, it's like, it's jam-packed with different projects. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. This is exciting. I love the new set. This is great.
Know.
This is fantastic.
Isn't
Yes.
Nice?
It's cute.
Well, the thing is, even though we've known each other for a long time, I don't think we've ever sat down to chat like how we're going to chat today.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So there's so many ththings I want to ask you, and I just want to know about you. And I think our listeners and viewers are going to come along for the ride and are going to benefit just as much. So our show, Making Changes podcast, we talk about chosen versus unchosen change. And although it's easy to go into the change in your life, I do want to really find out from you, though. Look, you come from an immigrant family, and yet you're an artist, right?
Yep.
What did your parents say when you were a kid and you're like, hey, Mom and Dad, when I grow up, I want to be an artist?
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't imagine myself to be an artist for a living, because it was like ingrained to me, okay, you're going into medicine or you're going to law or something like that. So it was literally just a hobby of mine, right? So
what was their dream for you?
Of course, a doctor. I think most immigrant parents want their kids to be doctors. Well, it's more because they know that it makes money. I think that the bottom
Stability.
line, yes, exactly. They just want their kids, and my parents did. They just want to make sure we can eat when we're older. And art is something that they just didn't understand. How can you make money off of that sort of thing? So when I was younger, I drew a lot. But for me personally, that wasn't the career, because it's not supposed to be a career then. It was just something I liked to do, and I was okay at it.
How old were you when you started drawing?
Usually when people ask me, I'll say 3, but just to give it a number. But for as long as I can remember, I've always been drawing. So I would draw on everything, paper. I think the only drawing I still have back then, and I had it, I think I lost it, on the back of my mom's cookbook. There was a page in the back that I drew some superheroes on there, and that's the only remaining child drawing that I have.
So any blank canvas, blank piece of paper,
yes,
you would draw?
I would draw on the walls. I would do the classic.
So are you born and raised in Canada?
Yes, yes. I was born in Canada. My parents came from the Philippines in around 1972, I think around there, and I was born in 78 around there.
And
but yes.
what did your mom and dad do for a living?
So my dad was more like a pharmacist type thing. I think he is. No, he's a chemist. I forgot what my dad did. All I know is he's gonna kill me for this. But I know he worked night shift. That's what I know. He worked night shift.
But he was in the health industry.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was on the health side. My mom, when she came here, she did some factory work. She eventually became a hairstylist. So she went to school to cut hair, and then she was a hairstylist for most of her life, right?
So your parents are like, James, you're going to be Dr. James Raiz.
Yes.
That's their dream for you.
Yes, yes.
And then at what stage in your life did you go from, hey, let me just scribble here and there, being a hobbyist, to, I think I want to do this when I grow up, Mom and Dad?
It actually didn't happen till a lot later in life. Like, because even I really started to seriously draw. I think around high school. That's when I actually started noticing comic books and getting to know like all these great comic book artists out there and trying to mimic them. That's when I started doing it, but still a hobby for me. It was still, just something I did on the weekends. I made my own comic book in high school. But again, hobby. It literally wasn't until my last year of high school. I looked at my schedule and I had all these subjects, very tough ones. And I don't know if it was because of laziness or not, but I looked at it, I'm like, I don't want to be a doctor anymore. I want to draw. I just needed the one credit to graduate at that point. So I went to my mom. I said, Mom, you know what? I don't want to be a doctor anymore, and I want to be an artist. And she goes to me, what? Can't you draw on the weekend between brain surgeries? That's what she would say to me. I'm like, no,
She wanted you to be a surgeon,
oh,
not
yeah,
just
yeah.
a doctor.
Of course. Well, the highest doctor. That's what you go for. Would I have made it? I don't know. At the time, my grades were okay at the time.
Yeah.
But regardless, I made a deal with my mom, and it's funny. You talk to a lot of Asian kids. A lot of them have the same deal with their mom.
Yes.
They said, let me go to college. Let me study for this, and if I can't find a job after, I'll go back. I'll go back into medicine. So I took an art fundamental course, trying to get into animation at the time. I didn't get in. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough to get in the animation course, but I got into an illustration course that taught me how to do things like draw buildings, perspective, cars, and all that. And that led me to my first job in comic books after that. Right?
Wow, you got a job in comic books.
Yes. There was a studio in Toronto that was close by that I was a fan of, and they invited me in for an interview, and then the boss, the big boss, who was looking through my portfolio, didn't really care too much for the people I drew, but he came across these two pieces where I drew these really intricate backgrounds. His brother barges into the room, and he goes, hey, you know what? We have this issue that needs to get out right away. The background art is not available. What do we do?
Oh,
and he looks at me and he's like, are you free tonight? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm free tonight. So that was the very first comic I worked on that particular night. That led to an internship. I did a 2-week internship with them, and then a job right after college.
So now you're actually getting paid for art.
Yes. In fact, even today, if people remember me from my comics days, it's because of my run on Transformers. I'm mostly known as a Transformers artist these days.
So now you're getting paid.
Yes.
And what did your parents say?
They still thought I was unemployed because it was more. Again,
it wasn't a real job.
No,
right?
it wasn't a real job because they didn't understand it. Again, they didn't understand. They knew, and it's weird hours too. It's not like I'm going there like 9 to 5. I'm literally going to the studio like 7, 8, 9 p.m. at night.
And then
I
all
would,
night.
Yeah, and I would stay there till like, whatever, 3, 4 in the morning.
Right.
Then trying to drive home, half asleep, drive home every night. That's what I would do. They knew I was earning enough to like pay for my phone and stuff like that, but they didn't really get it. Still, they still didn't get it.
Now that you're older and wiser, how do you understand why your parents couldn't understand what you were doing?
Well, it's more, it's a balance of things. I don't think they wanted to understand, but they just wanted to know I was okay, right? Because again, I totally get it. It comes from a place of love, right? They just want to make sure I'm going to be okay, right? That again, I can feed my family and myself. I always say to young artists too, and anyone who has like a kind of weird job, I even say to my kids, right? If you have a job that you'd like to do or career path you want to go and I don't understand it, that's okay. Show me you could live with that. That's all I ask, right? I might not understand it, but just show me examples that you could live. Like, because I think for my parents, they've never encountered someone who has made it a career.
That's true.
Right? They
So, you're a dad now. So if your kids were to say, Dad, I want to be an artist, and you've got 3 kids. Any of them have the same artistic skills? And
well, they all did. Like my youngest daughter, like I thought she would be the one because she started, using the iPad. She was doing Procreate, and she was doing these really great drawings. So I thought she'd be the one to follow. But then next year, I'll forget.
Something else.
She doesn't want it. It's something else. And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
But if your kids were to come up to you and tell you, Dad, I want to do this one thing that is very foreign to you, how do you think you would react, knowing how your parents reacted to you?
Well, exactly. I think that prepared me for that. That prepared me that. All I ask is show me how you can make money out of this thing. Just show me, and I'll be relieved. At the same time, it's more for my relief, right? Show me that there are people who they don't even have to be rich, right?
Yeah.
Just show me that they could put food on the table and take care of their family. Because that's one of the things when I went into YouTube, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later. When I decided to go full time into YouTube, that was a scary thing too, for me, because I didn't know people that were successful.
Just looking back, how do you think things might have turned out differently if you responded differently to your parents' concerns? Meaning, let's just say you gave in and you did pursue medicine.
You look back. No, I was very lazy.
You were very lazy.
Well, that's one.
You
That's one
wouldn't
thing.
have passed the classes anyway.
Exactly. It's one thing. Like, and that's the term laziness. Is lazy just because you just don't want to do the work, or you're just not interested in doing the work. I think I would have tried.
Right.
I would have tried my best. That's all I say. Would it have been enough? I don't know.
Going back to like when you were a kid, there was something. Of course, you were born and raised in the church. Yes. What was it that you saw in drawings that you saw that you thought, oh, this is inspiring? When it came to church art.
Oh yes, absolutely. Well, there were a couple of things in that realm. In Toronto, there's this big mural in Toronto, hand drawn. Have you seen it? Have you seen that one?
Is that the one at
Toronto?
the chapel?
Yes, in the chapel.
Okay.
In the chapel, there's a mural done there by Brother Noli Mercado did that. I actually watched him paint it when I was young.
As a kid.
So that was one of the first things that thought of, which actually also was a catalyst for other things in my career later on. But also, and then the Basuga magazines, like there
God's
would be
Message
a lot of
magazine.
God's Message magazines. That's English. In the God's Message magazines, they would have like these illustrations in the God's Message magazines, and they were really nice. Those illustrations, especially when it came to Bible stories and all of that. And then I forgot who gave it to me, but someone actually gave me a copy of a comic book about the messenger. That was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. That was the first time I saw it in a comic form, seeing the stories, and the artwork in there was fantastic. It was by brother. Help me.
Nestor.
Yeah, Nestor. Yeah, I want to make sure. I was confusing Noli with Nestor.
Yeah.
I said Noli. Like, wait a minute, which one's which?
Yes.
Yeah,
Brother
Nestor Molgapo Senior. Because I would always see his name there, his signature on all the artwork. So that was definitely a huge artistic influence for me and in my career as well. Yeah.
And then fast forward to the centennial of the church in 2014.
Yes.
Was the idea that you came up with?
I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something at the time. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I did want to do something, and then that brought me back to that comic book, right, and the history of the church itself. So I had an idea that what if we did these little drawing videos. Actually,
I think it's funny
Yeah.
that you call them little,
little drawing videos. Yeah.
because you end up doing,
Yeah.
it was a huge mural.
Again, heavily inspired by what I read in the Pasugo comics. So I pitched the idea to the administration. What if I do a piece where I'm going to do one piece per every 10 years of the church? So it'd be 10 pieces. However, I think it would be really cool if at the end of it, all of them connected and nobody knew. But at the end, all of those pieces connected to make one giant mural, right? And then I'll film the whole thing, and it'll be a cool video series. If while I'm drawing, we'll have a voiceover
Right.
to describe what actually happened in those 10 years, and the church administration, through the grace of God, approved the assignment, and that started me putting this piece together. Took about a year to put it together. Myself and a lot of the brethren in Toronto, same brethren in Toronto, we got together. They helped me edit and put these pieces together. And
it was spectacular.
yeah.
I mean, the details on that mural,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, and I remember looking at it going, what if he makes a mistake, right? Because it's all in
Right.
in markers and pens,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And it was like it all just really connected, all the pieces and all the details. And you can't just look at it. You got to look at it really closely.
Right.
Because every small detail, every corner of that mural tells a story.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we wanted to do, right? Your eyes had to go around the right way so that you could be told the story chronologically and clearly.
It was, it was so moving because, like I said, there were no words, but you could feel the story unfolding as you're going left to right, right?
Right.
So you're a children's worship service teacher.
Yes.
Someone with a career that was really just blooming and blossoming. And yet, why did you always think, what can I do for the church?
Well, of course, being a member of the church, like the church, it's a big part of my life, and it's how I grew up. Right? It's what I knew. Like this is my life. My life is in the church to serve God, and I'm a firm believer that if God gives you a talent, that there's a reason why, and I fully believe that. Because God gave me this talent, it's more than just to make money or to put food on the table, and of course that is part of the reason why. But I also feel that if God you made this talent, there was another purpose behind it, right? And especially believing what I do, what we do in our faith and in God, it's how can I use my talent to not only inspire those inside, but also those outside the church as well. Everything I've experienced is because of God's mercy to me. So I won't even say give back. You can never give back, what God has given you. So it's what, to be honest, is what helps keep me sane throughout all this. It keeps me at peace. Whenever I am able to fulfill. And it's one of those things where maybe some don't understand this, but when I am able to do a project for the church and it works, or it's successful in terms of the impact it has on others and on brethren, to be honest, it's way more fulfilling than any other professional project I've done. The feeling is just different. And I see it not just in my life, but in my family's life as well, when it comes to that. So that's the difference. That's why I do it, Yeah.
You do this little show called Time to Draw.
Yes.
Time to Draw Live,
Yes,
when we do
yes.
the live events.
Yes.
You said that it's more fulfilling than any commercial success you've had, which is a lot. I mean, that says a lot because you've had amazing commercial success. What is it about doing these shows for the INC kids in the church in these, function halls or however big or small the venue is, and you just see these little kids. I was watching them on Saturday.
Yes.
I have video of them, and their eyes are just, when they're watching. We show a little video clip of you and what you've done, and they see there's a brother in the church who's been part of these movies, and what is it? You said the feeling. Explain it a little bit more for us who are trying to understand. What do you mean it's more fulfilling than working on
working with Marvel Studios, working with Star Wars. Like, what is that feeling like?
Well, especially when it comes to that, and it's everything you said right there. Especially today in this influencer world that we have, I'm trying to show these kids that you don't have to go and do bad things. You know, you don't have to do controversial things. You know, to either get noticed or be successful. To cheat. To do these, you don't have to do any of that stuff.
You don't have to compromise your values.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Especially for us being in the church, there's a lot of things we believe and uphold that a lot of people don't. At the same time, so some people feel they have to sacrifice that part of yourself, and that's very important to me to tell them, no, you don't have to. You know, God will provide. He could still give you success. That's why doing shows like this is also very, very important to me, because especially at that young age. When they're that young, sometimes that's all they see. And even if you feel even if you feel this guy got ahead because he did this, do you really want to do that, right? To get ahead, is this really who you want to be? Type thing, because you don't have to. You don't have to. God has given us so much. There is a way.
You're very open on your social media that you are a man of God, you're a Christian, you're Iglesia, how do you think that has helped influence or helped your audience, your followers know who you are, and how has that helped inspire them as well?
Well, I think one of the reasons I have found some of the success I've had was because I am authentic in that sense. I'm not trying to hide who I am. People can spot. You know, they can spot from a mile away when someone's fake. Yeah. When they're trying to be someone they're not. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So first of all, so there's no need to do it, right? I know, especially some might be scared because they feel the majority might not agree with some things that we do, but sometimes a lot of people actually agree a lot with what we do as well. So for me, it's more like, you know what? At the end of the day, you know, even if there's someone who doesn't agree with me, I could always block them, or I could always silence them.
And at the end of the day, the only audience you're trying to please is God.
Exactly.
Right? Because you can't please everybody anyway.
You're not going to, and that's how I do these things, right? So
going back to the mural that you did for the church for the centennial anniversary, that kind of opened up other ideas for you.
Yes.
So tell me about, from that point on, all the other major projects that came your way that God just put in your way, and what happened since?
So I was turning 40 soon, and one thing I never got to do in my art career was do art for me. It's usually for a company, and the only way I felt that really was when I was doing YouTube, because it was just for me. So that's when I had a conversation with my family. I said, okay, look, what if, let me try this full time. I'm still teaching on the side to earn money for us, but let me try this YouTube thing full time. All right, and they agreed. Okay, let's give it a shot. And the one thing I wanted to do was like, okay, how am I going to stand out from now there wasn't a lot of art YouTubers out there, but there were some. Like, how can I make myself a little bit different than anyone else at that time? And I thought back to that mural I did for the centennial. Like, okay, I did that. What if I did that for some movie franchises, and I was a fan of Star Wars. And I said, okay, what if I did something like that for Star Wars? I could do it on my channel, and we'll see what happens, type of thing. Again, not expecting like I'm going to make a lot of money off this thing. I didn't even know how to make money off YouTube at the time. So for the next 6 months, that's what I did. I went live on my channel every day, trying to draw this big mural itself. And then someone online saw it, and they invited me to be on the Star Wars show in San Francisco, which is great because my friends are here.
Yes, we went with you.
Yeah, you went with me. You went with me to
Skywalker Ranch.
Yes, we went to Skywalker Ranch. They invited me to go on the Star Wars show and arrange it. And remember, it took us 3 hours to actually put that thing up because I brought in 2 portfolio cases. This thing's huge.
It was humongous.
It's 5.5 feet tall, 8.5 feet wide. This particular case, I had 2 big portfolio cases because there were 64 boards. And then we had to tape them all together. I remember
I didn't know the order because not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, exactly. I asked you to help put this together,
yes.
and you didn't know what it was, which is totally understandable.
My husband was so embarrassed for me because he's like, "You did that in front of James?"
No, I understood.
But I remember that day because people that worked there at Skywalker Ranch, they were all coming in and just looking at this mural that we were putting up, and they just were so amazed.
Yes, especially because a lot of them worked on a lot of those shots in the movie, so they were looking for the shot that they worked on.
Right.
I remember some guys were taking pictures. I worked on that. This is the one that was me. They were like that.
And so from that project, so they invite you over.
Yeah.
Who else noticed?
I think it was like September or something like that, or October. I sent. I was on Twitter. I was on Twitter, and the head of Marvel Studios, he tweeted. Right, he tweeted something. Like it was like 2 seconds. Right, it was 2 seconds. I saw. So I was there when he tweeted it. I'm like, okay. Immediately, I tweeted back to him. I'm like, hey, I did this for Star Wars. Would love to do something for Marvel at the time. The next day, I get a call from Disney. They called me up. The head of their marketing division. His name's,
the next day.
Yeah, the next day. His name's Assad. Wonderful guy. He said, James, don't worry. Kevin saw it. He loves it. And Kevin, the head of Marvel Studios. And he goes, we don't know what you're going to do yet, but just know you're on a radar. We're going to give you something. Like, okay. I was cautiously optimistic, as we say, right? So I'm like, okay, if it happens, great. If not, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So I kept making like YouTube videos here and there. And that was about until March. And then they called me up again. Like, okay, James, it's time. You got 5 weeks. What can you do? Right? I'm like, okay.
And this is for
the
Infinity Wars.
movie, Avengers Infinity War.
So did you sleep at all?
No, I didn't. I didn't. For the next 5 weeks.
Wow.
I just put that together, and they loved it. I sent them the artwork, and what they did was they made these art installations inside of movie theaters, right? They put inside of movie theaters, not all of them. We select ones. There was the one, the Regal LA Live here. In Los Angeles, and then they had one in South America. They had one in China as well, and one in Toronto.
So it wasn't just U.S. and Canada.
No,
it was in different
worldwide.
parts.
It was
Wow,
worldwide.
I didn't know that.
It was worldwide. They would have these Infinity War exhibits, and that was a part of it, right?
And I remember the cool thing in this whole experience was they flew your whole family.
They did, yes, they did.
To the premieres.
Yes. Which was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun to do. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful that they did that, and that's when I actually asked them. Can you tell my mom I have a job?
It was during this.
That was when. Yeah,
so your mom and dad came too,
my
right?
My mom and dad came. I really wanted them to come.
Yes.
To see that I have a job.
Mom, I've made it.
I made it, Mom. and then the guy I was working with. He
and
went
you
up
have
to
this on video?
I do. He was going like, your son very, very talented. He's like, oh. I'll be like, okay.
Your mom's like, he's all right.
Yes. Like, okay.
So now, what are you thinking, James? I mean, you've done work for Marvel Studios, not just any movie. Yeah. This is a blockbuster film, right? Yes. At that point in your life, you've got a wonderful family, you've got 3 kids, your parents are with you.
Yes.
Seeing your success, seeing your rise, and it's amazing that it all started from the Centennial mural that you did. That idea just spawned into other things.
Right. Yeah.
So what are you thinking at that point when you're going to this? You were being interviewed everywhere.
Yeah.
What were the thoughts in your mind at that time?
Well, this is going to sound weird in that sense. Especially growing up, especially as a CW's teacher, I know the Bible pretty well. In that sense, they always say it's in the Bible that says, God puts you in situations where you can handle it, right? If you're in a bad situation, it means God knows you can handle it. And at that point in my life, I'm like, man, God thinks I'm a wimp. Because things are going so well in my life.
Huh? Were you nervous?
I was getting nervous that something might happen. That's the totally honest truth.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really nervous.
Because things were going too well.
Things were going too well, right? Because again, you could be the holiest guy ever, like Lord Jesus Christ was never sinned, and all that had to happen to him. And again, there was a purpose behind all of that. So
you weren't elated. You weren't like, I've made it.
Yeah.
because we were all so
Yeah.
happy and excited for you
Again,
because you
yeah.
were like mainstream.
Right.
This was a huge mainstream project. I never knew that
Yes,
you were
yes.
like nervous.
Yes, I was. Of course, I was very happy. I was very happy with things were going up and better. But at the same time, that was kind of creeping
back of your
in the back of my mind. Like, something. Is something going to happen at that point in my life?
When will the
right?
bubble burst?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Is there a bubble? It'll burst. Or does God think I can't handle the bubble bursting at that time, right? So that's when things started going when I got home. So we went to Universal Studios, and this is I actually never told this story. We went to Universal Studios, and my wife Ruth, she went on one of the rides, and she kind of blacked out a little bit. And when she got out, she said, I got a headache and stuff, and she threw up, and she kind of felt something was off. And in the back of my mind, right, that's the first thing that got into my mind was like, oh, what if this is something
Serious.
really serious, right? But then she recovered okay, and she's
a
okay.
nurse.
Yeah, exactly, right. So she would know. So I was like, okay. We finished off our trip. She was doing okay. We went home, and then she started to become slow. She started getting slow, little unbalanced. We went to the doctor a couple times, and they all thought it was vertigo. They all thought it was a vertigo, like an inner ear type thing. So we went to this walk-in, and they said, okay, we'll schedule for an MRI later on in the summertime. MRI whenever we get it. We'll send you an MRI, but for now, I think it's just vertigo. Just rest up and everything. So I think a few weeks later, she was out with some friends, and they noticed that her face was drooping a bit, and they're like, we should go to emergency. Let's just to be sure, And so we went, and then it took all night. It took a while. It took a while before she actually got the MRI. But then I remember around 4:00 in the morning, the doctor came, and he said, you know what? I think we see brain bleeds in your wife.
Wow.
Yeah, we need to transfer you to another hospital immediately. So they put us in an ambulance. We went to another hospital. They gave her another MRI, and they found that there were multiple tumors in her brain. In her brain. And they're like, these got to get out now, right away. So she had emergency surgery to get the tumors out. And they said it doesn't necessarily mean it's cancer, but
they weren't even calling it cancer.
They weren't calling it cancer yet. So just talking to the surgeon, the first one, he says, it's not sure. It might be, might not be. But then when he saw the second one, he's like, yeah, I think this is cancer here. But after that, I remember I was in the room, and I was praying, right? I was praying in the room, and then the doctor, they were looking for me because she was out of the emergency OR already, and she was looking for me. They couldn't find me. I was in the room. I was praying in the room because I was like, okay, God, this is it. This is what you were nervous about. This is what I was waiting for. This is what I was waiting for. Just give me the strength to get through this, and may it not be as serious as I think this is going to be.
Somewhere out there, someone is going through their own impossible season. Maybe they're lying awake at 3 a.m. wondering how they'll hold their family together, or questioning if God really has a plan when everything feels so broken. When you leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify, you're helping someone else discover that they're not alone. It takes 30 seconds, but it could change someone's entire perspective. Now back to James.
So I went. We talked to my wife, and then the one of the doctors, he came to talk to me. He goes, "Was your wife ever? Did she travel somewhere or anything?" Like, no. He goes, "Well, we did a full scan, and we found something in her lung, as well. If she went somewhere, it could be tuberculosis, and all this will clear up. It'll be okay. But if not, then that means that the one in her brain came from her lung, right? And
it
yeah,
spread.
and then it spread to her brain. So a couple of weeks later, they brought us in and they said, yeah, that came from the brain, or it came from the lung, the ones in her brain. So which means she was already at stage 4 of cancer.
So your first
Yeah.
your first appointment or your first time getting medical help, she's already at stage 4.
Yeah, she was already at stage 4 at that particular point. And they said, if all goes well, or if we, maybe she has 3-4 years. That's what they told us at the time. Now, one thing they did tell me though was if we didn't get those tumors out, she would have died a few weeks.
Wow.
In a few weeks from when we talked. And the MRI that they told us to schedule was in the summertime. So she would have died. I wouldn't have had
If
no
you
idea
actually waited.
if we waited till that actual scheduled MRI. So,
So your life is just your family's life just turned upside down.
yeah.
Instantly. You've got 3 little kids at home.
Yes, exactly. Me and Ruth, we talked about it, right? And what we were going to do, of course, after crying and of course after trying to deal with it, but we didn't really tell anybody at the time because there were a few things. Like, again, from everything I learned, like there are examples of people who lived longer. Like King Hezekiah for 15 years, right? So maybe I'm like, maybe we'll get the 15 years, right? Maybe that was my deal with God. We'll get you 15 years. We didn't know if it was really going to be 3-4 years or if it was going to be longer or short. We had no idea. And we also knew that no matter what, it's not going to be easy when she passes, whether they knew or not. And we wanted our families to have as normal as a life as possible. We didn't want to walk into the room and be the story, right? And we knew that was what's going to happen. So we actually never told anybody. We never told a family. I think I just told one minister that she was like, I didn't even tell the ministers. It was just something that I kept.
That she was
with us.
terminal at this point.
Yeah, that she was terminal already.
How did you tell the kids?
We didn't tell the kids until about a year before she passed. I believe our oldest daughter, Emma, she was the first one we told. We set her aside, and I think she was having some issues at school at the time, and we were helping her out. But we also decided it was the right time for her to know that her mom wasn't going to live that much longer than that. Of course, it was tough. But then when her cancer started to spread more, it came to a point where it was under control for a long time, right? Actually, it kind of reduced a little bit. So it actually gave us hope for a few years. But then
She was still pretty active.
Yeah.
You guys traveled.
She was very, very active. Very, very active. Yeah. But then there came to a point where it started to spread again. It started to spread more. I remember too. It was so unfortunate. Like they called, and my wife's like, hoping to hear good news. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we can't give you good news. It's spread more to your brain and stuff. And they're like, you probably have 6 months to a year left at this point. And that's when we decided, okay, we have to tell everyone now. We have to. At this point, they need to know. So our children were the first ones we told. We brought them into our room and we told them, and we cried together for a long time. That things are going to change. One thing I am very thankful for is that God gave us time to prepare for everything. I don't, again, if he decided that was it before, I don't know what I would have done at that point.
If you didn't have time.
Yeah, if I didn't have time, I wouldn't know how to, what to do, especially when it came to the houses, the finances, all that stuff. But because he gave us that little bit of time that we had left, we tried to live to the fullest. In that case, after we got the diagnosis, it's well, I won't say it's funny, but things actually ramped up career-wise after the diagnosis, right? It's hard to say that, but
Wow.
but after that, after we had the diagnosis, of course I took a couple months off, and then my son came home with this drawing of this character he created, and I said, "Oh, that's a cool character. What if I redraw that thing? I'll draw it like my comic book style." And I did that. I put that video out, and that was my first video to hit 1 million views. That one here, the one to go super viral, and it shot up my channel, right? And then every month after that, I got a viral video after viral video after. It was like a snowball. It was a snowball effect. I went from 70,000 to 1 million in a year, subscribers in a year. If there's one thing I am thankful was that Ruth got to see that. She actually got to see.
She was also
success.
managing your YouTube channel.
She was
right?
managing
she was
that.
Your manager.
She was managing my store. I gave her something to do, right? Because she was off from work. She didn't work anymore.
She was your booker, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She would book your events and everything.
She did all of that stuff. So it really became a family business at that time.
When you think about just how ironic it is that you're going through the most painful time in your life, and then you're getting these blessings at the same time.
Yeah.
What did you make of that?
It's weird. I didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I don't know. Like, it was exciting to see. And also, during that time, like, she was okay. She was kind of stable, right? She was on this medication. So for the first couple of years after, like, it was like she was okay. It was like she was okay. If she really wanted to go back to work, she could have. She could have, but she didn't. So let's take the time, stay at home.
What were your prayers like at that time? What did you guys say in your prayers together, you and Ruth?
Well, we prayed for strength to get through it. Of course, we ask for more time. Of course we do, right? But again, we also know, we also prayed that we knew God had a plan for us, whether that included Ruth or not in our plan. That just to help us and our family get through all of it, because we knew it was coming eventually, whether that be a year from now or 10 years from now, it was going to come. So we just prayed for that strength and that we could be as prepared as we could be whenever that time came, So we were kind of just living life like she was okay type thing. And then sometimes even us, we forget, right? You forget because things were going so well. You forget, and then there were those little times where things would increase a little bit, and then all of that starts rushing back. All of those feelings just kind of rush back. Part of it was for me. Part of it for me was even after we got the diagnosis in 2018, it was all preparation for me. I just prayed that whenever the time is right, that I'd be ready for it, because it's not just me. I got to be the one to, take care of these kids and help them through this difficult time. Because of course they're going to get it a lot worse than I am, because they're just hearing about it when I had time to kind of process everything, right? Because when it happens, they're at stage 1. I'm already past that at that point.
Because you've had time to process.
I had time to process what life is going to be like afterwards. Right?
So how do you possibly prepare young children for this kind of change? What do you say?
Oh, it's very, very hard. It's very, very hard. I tell them, I think one of the reasons why I was able to get through to where I am today is because of everything we believe. Everything we believe, where death itself, it's not necessarily a bad thing in terms of, it means that your course is done. It means that God allowed you to live the life He wanted you to live, and now it's complete. And there's more ahead, right? It's not an ending in that sense, right?
It's rest.
It's rest. That's what it is. If I didn't believe that, I'd probably be in a lot worse shape today. But if that's what we believe, that's what we were taught. I was taught that, because especially those last 6 months, she was suffering a lot.
Yes.
She was suffering a lot those last 6
And
months.
to physically see her, not be the woman you married.
Yes, exactly, right? To see her having trouble breathing, to see her just sitting down, and preparing and scared and all of that.
And how did she? I mean, your whole family, your kids. You're a CWS teacher. Ruth was in the choir.
Yes.
How do you process it? How do you process the fact, like, why is this happening to us?
Yeah.
We've done everything to serve God. We've tried to do everything right.
Right. Well, again, that all comes from a place of understanding the way God works and how He's worked in the past, right? Understanding it doesn't matter, God has a plan for each of us, and when God says we're done, we're done, right? Again, if someone doesn't sin, if our Lord Jesus Christ didn't sin, and He still died at a very early age comparatively, like He died in His 30s, right?
33.
Then who are we? Right? Who are we who make mistakes all the time, right? To say, hey, I'm good. Why are you doing this to me? No, it's because God has a reason for all these things to happen, and that's what I tell my kids. God just has a reason for these things to happen. It was her time. It was her time.
How old were the kids then when you finally told them that your mom was terminal?
Well, my oldest daughter, she would be in her last year of high school.
She was 17?
Yeah, 17. She was 17.
And Evan?
Evan was, so how old is my son? Well, 5 years younger than
12.
that. 12. You're on 12. And my
And
youngest
Ellie?
daughter would have been like 9 around that time. I remember too, like we wanted Ruth to make Emma's graduation. We really wanted her to make her graduation. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make the graduation. I think that's where I probably cried the most, was Emma's graduation. Nobody saw me because I was in the corner, but it's because that was kind of our goal, try to make it there. But again, that's what I hold on to. There's a reason why all of these are happening, and that death itself, again, like you said, it's a rest. It means that she did everything God wanted her to do while she was here. Right?
Your kids at that time, they're in different stages, and so comprehension is different.
Yes.
How do you explain to them that this is God's plan? We accept it. They don't see God.
It's very tough. I won't lie. It was extremely tough. It still is today, to be honest. I do tell them, and that's pretty much what I tell them. Even for Ellie, I said, look, life's life can be long, it can be short. Your mom lived a full life, and she even told her that too when she was dying. Like Ruth told her that too. Her life, she lived a good life. She felt, she did everything she could for the kids, right? And that will never change. That will never change. That love that she had for the kids, and just telling her that you're gonna see her again one day, but this is our test too, right? And no matter what, your dad is here for you, and I'm always going to be here for you, no matter what changes I go through, right? I'm still here for you, no matter what. That's all really the comfort, because even though she might not understand that part, I pray they understand the part where I'm still here and that I could still take care of them.
Were they afraid that you would go too?
Yeah. I think even to this day, they're afraid that something would happen to me. So every time I have to go away for things, of course, they're scared when I go away for things, but at the same time, that's what I pray for. All of them are doing extremely well at school. That's one thing I'm extremely proud of.
Ellie was valedictorian.
Yes, she was.
Evan was class president.
Yes. The funny thing about Evan is because sometimes he stays up late playing video games, and I want to tell him don't, but he's getting 99% on all those courses. I'm like, what are you going to say? Your marks are going to go down?
Yeah.
So not yet. I can't tell that.
You can't
tell that yet. Right?
You can keep going.
When everything happened, I even tell them, joke with them right away. Okay, now's the time to ask for something, because I'm not saying no to you for
This is when I'm most vulnerable.
For the next while. I'm not going to say no to anything you want, so you better ask.
But who was there for James?
Hearing James talk about his kids still being active in church, still praying, still trusting God, even after losing their mom, it reminds me of a Faith Speaks story we featured a few years back. Maynard Beneday, he lost both his parents by 19. And just like James's kids, he had a choice. Let grief pull him away from everything his parents taught him, or let those lessons become his lifeline. Those bedtime prayers his dad made him say, well, they saved him when depression hit.
I decided then and
Watch
there,
Maynard's story on Faith Speaks, available on incmedia.org and the INC Media app.
What was it like those nights alone?
That's a good question there, because It was tough. It was tough. Of course, my parents and my sisters, they're always there. But you know, I I always throw myself to my work in that sense. Um, I think a few months later, I decided to hire a couple of friends to help me, and that actually kind of helped me get back on my feet a little bit because when they were there with me, and these are some of my best friends in the world, they were there. It helped me actually just sit down and work during the day and laugh. I kind of needed that. My NC Media family. I felt I was in a place where I could do more for the church at that time. Things were set up for the kids and for us for a bit. I said, oh, now might be the time. That definitely helped me get through everything. But that is very loaded. Because to be honest, I didn't even think about that at this point. Who was here for me? I just pray every night and ask for help because it is tough. I think that's one of the toughest things is that because every day, living life without my wife, who's not here anymore. It was a partnership, right? We were here, we were doing the kids together, and now it's just me and my fear before is something bad was going to happen. Now my fear is, am I going to mess it up? Every day it's like that. Can I do this by myself? And that's something I actually struggle with. Even today. I said I was going to cry. You're going to cry. You got me. You got me. Every day. Helping my kids. Because even today, I still see them struggle a lot. Finding the words to say every day. It's hard. And I do the best I can. Try to tell them everything's going to be okay. Sometimes they believe me, sometimes they don't, and I get that.
They're young.
Yeah, they're young. It's part of it. Oh.
How do you, obviously you could never replace their mom,
Yeah.
but how do you let them still feel so loved despite this big hole in their heart?
Yeah. We do our best. We do our best, we believe that, they're done, they can't hear us anymore. They're resting right now. We'll see them again.
What were Ruth's last words to you?
I'm trying to remember, to be honest. Like everything happened very, very fast because she was kind of in and out at the end to the point where, to be honest, we actually never really talked as much at the end. But when we did talk, it was actually more about the kids. It was more making sure that they would be okay and how to take care of them. I think that's what. Because she knew that I was going to struggle more and more. So it's more like instructional. Right? Instructional. Don't forget this. Instructional. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that.
I mean, you have 2 girls.
I do, and that's what I was nervous about. Emma has been a godsend in that area because she is she's more grown up now. Especially Ellie's, she's changing. So she's changing. Yes. Now I'm like, Emma, you gotta help me out. I can't explain this properly. You go talk to her. You go talk to her.
Yeah, that is a blessing that you have a daughter, eldest daughter.
I'm very blessed. My kids are very close together, and I see that every day. They joke with each other. They hold on to each other. They hold on to each other, and that helps me a lot, especially when I have to go away for work. Sometimes the 3 of them they cling together, but it's a challenge. Every single day is a challenge. That's all we can do. We can just pray and ask for help, and I make mistakes all the time, but I just try to do the best I can every day. That's the case.
How do you hope that something tragic like this happening to them so early on in their lives, how do you hope that this experience will build resilience in them and will make them stronger adults
Right. Yeah.
in life to face future challenges,
Right.
because they will.
Yes. Well, the thing is, like all of them are different stages of their life when they happened. So I think for my oldest, I think it really affected her the most because she understood the most. She
Yeah.
understood like everything, and she remembers her mom the most.
She
Out
spent
of
the
the
most
three,
time
she
with
spent
her
the most
mom.
time with her mom. If you look at her,
Yeah.
she's like the splitting
She
image of her
is.
mom. She's like her
Yes.
clone.
Yes, as painful
Oh,
as
yes.
it was, how do you hope that it will build resilience in them?
When you talk about resilience, these kids have gone through a lot at a very, very young age. At a very, very young age, they've gone through a lot. There's a lot of problems out there. I'm hoping that now they know that's not the worst. It's not the worst thing.
The worst is never the worst.
The worst is never the worst.
You
right?
posted this picture. I'm stalking you on
Oh,
social
of course,
media.
please.
You posted this picture about 2 years ago, and you
Yes.
said, 2 years ago today was the worst day of our lives. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. 2 years ago was the worst day of our lives. But because of the grace of God, our love for each other, and the love and support of all of you, we are still here, standing strong with hope for the future. God bless all of you and your families, and thank you for your love and support for ours. And it's
Yes.
a picture of you in your children's worship service teacher suit, your two kids in their choir togas, and Emma
Yes.
in her CWS officer uniform.
Yes.
How are you able to teach your kids to still love God the way they do, to still love the church, their duties the way they do, despite experiencing such a tragic loss in their lives?
Right, and again, it's very difficult to convey that to the kids. But at the same time, I tell them, look, despite everything that's happened, God has blessed us so much with everything. Your mom worked very hard so that you would have a bright future. In terms of savings, in terms of everything, right? She really did. And if you're going to honor her memory in that way, there's a way to do that. It is through performance of your duties and just trying to continue to live life. Because sometimes that is the hardest, just to try to continue living the life. One thing that did happen after Ruth passed was all the kids, they actually got a lot more active. And when I say active, they started performing more in their duties. And I saw that. All of them. Emma, in terms of, she's just started doing it like this. That's CW's Thanksgiving there, she became, what are they called now? Watchers
Yes,
now? She
she
was
was watcher.
watching the kids.
Yeah.
Evan is so active in the Christian Family Organization right now. Like he's doing a lot right now. They actually got closer to God after everything happened. And again, that was one of the things I was so worried about too, is that they would shut God out. But no, they drew closer to Him. Like even in going to worship services, I make them write verses down. but also you'll understand more,
Yes.
right? If you start now, of course they can't do that when they're in the choir, but even just their understanding, right? They asked me, I want a Bible where I could write notes down and stuff. That stuff they weren't doing before. I saw them really start getting closer to God and trusting Him more. It's very, very tough, because the thing is, a lot of people don't understand. Like they're sympathetic, but until you've lost someone yourself, it's very hard to understand what they're going through at that point in their lives. Especially at that young.
When you look at this picture
Yeah.
of all of you smiling, in the house of worship,
Yeah.
is this your prayers answered?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just the fact that they are still so active right now, that they still put their full trust in God, especially during this time. Again, it's not like we're problem free or anything like that. Of course, problems still come, but I see them praying. That's all you could hope for, really. But they see it. They see it. You know what? Your mom fulfilled what she was meant to do.
But I think it's also a testament of how both you and Sister Ruth raised your kids,
Oh, yeah.
right? This is, I mean, they
Yeah.
are who they are, not because of simply after their mom passed away,
Right.
but this is from childhood, literally,
absolutely.
from the day they were born.
Absolutely.
They saw how you both lived your lives for God.
Absolutely. Well, even when Ruth was terminal, she was still extremely active, or she tried to be as much as she could.
Her
She
service to God
yes.
didn't
Oh
wane.
no, not at all, not at all. And the kids saw that too. They saw how
Yeah.
she was still inviting people to go to church. Even in her state, she was trying
I
as much
remember
as
you
she
telling
could.
me
Yes,
that
yeah,
she had visitors.
Yeah, she had visitors, right? We did online visitors. She talked to a lot of our
Wow.
kids' parents and got them to
attend to Bible studies.
attend Bible studies, even online and stuff like that. She tried her hardest before she left, and the kids saw that.
Having gone through what you've gone through, what does strength look like and feel like? Like, how do you know that it's God who's given you strength?
Well, strength is one of those things where, well, for me anyway, it's like you don't really feel it, but even though you're suffering inside, you're still able to do what you need to do. I still got to put the food on the table. I still have to get them through school. I still have to try to make them feel happy, even though on the inside, I'm breaking up, falling apart. Having God kind of hold the pieces together while I'm able to do what I need to do for the family, because I have to. It makes me. Part of me thinks, well, what would have happened if we didn't have kids, and I didn't have to?
Get up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to go to work. I don't have other mouths to feed. I have to work by myself. Would I still? I don't know. But I live every day because I know I have to take care of our children and make sure that they have the best future possible. That's why I still keep going, and that's why I still try every single day. It's for them, to make sure they have the life. So that's why I can't let, me fall apart. But how do you stop yourself from falling apart?
How do you?
Yeah, how do you? That's he helps me. And that's what I fully believe, because it's very hard. Every day's a struggle, but that's all I am asking.
Despite
just
the
hold me together.
joyful smiles,
Yeah,
James,
yeah,
you are like the
yeah.
most jolliest person I know.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I know when you were going through this, we were
Yeah.
texting and just, trying to stay in touch.
Yeah.
But when I would see photos, when Ruth would travel and I would see your photos, and the smile on your face never left.
Yes, yeah.
During those moments when you're alone and the kids don't see you, and it's one of those days,
Yeah,
and you're alone and it's just you and God.
yeah.
What do you tell him?
I ask him, help me not mess this up. That's what I say every time. Like, sometimes, I don't even ask him to fix it. You know what I mean? It's like I could ask him to glue the pieces together. No, just help me hold on. That's what I ask him. Just help me hold on long enough where I know that these guys are gonna be okay. That's all I ask. It's not about me anymore at this point. It's more making sure that these kids, because they deserve it, the best. No one, they didn't ask for any of this to happen. That they'll be okay going forward, and he has. Every day I feel it. Every day. There are a lot of days when I feel like I don't have it, or a lot of days I feel like I'm not doing enough. There's a lot of days I feel like I'm not holding it together.
Still
God.
to
Yeah,
this day.
even to this day,
It's been
every day.
4 years, almost 4 years.
Every day. But God holds it together for me. Enough so I do what I need to do. I do what I need to do, right?
You
So,
mentioned earlier that you're thankful that you and Ruth both had time.
Yeah.
You had time to prepare the kids. You had time to put things in order. But how does one prepare for this kind of change? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how does one prepare to be a single dad
Right.
for the rest of their lives? Like,
Right.
how did you do it?
It's a lot of prayer. I don't know. I would love to say I knew how to do it. It's more like every day by day, every day is a challenge, right? Every day that Ruth was still here, it was another day that I got to plan. It was another day we got to love the kids together. Yeah, you know what I mean? Right? It was and just to make the most of every moment. But again, throughout those 3 years, in my head, it's like, okay, what do I do? What do I do once she's gone?
So for 3 years, you were telling yourself
Oh
that.
yeah, every single day, and I didn't know how much time I had to be able to do that, to plan. But I knew that when she's gone, it's just me. I felt actually throughout my life like she was kind of the one to kind of hold the finances and fix all
She
that
spoiled
stuff for me.
you.
Yeah, fix all that stuff.
And she was such a good cook.
Yeah, she was.
So, like, how did you deal with
We
the chores,
do a lot
the
of takeout.
laundry?
We do a lot of takeout. I never ever thought I would hear my kids say, "Do we have to eat out tonight?" Dad?" I never thought that they've said
Wow,
it's
they're
like,
tired of
they want
eating
us-
out.
Is Lula coming over to cook? yeah, that kind of thing. So there was a lot of that. I do my best. I do my best in terms of the
your
cooking
wife
and stuff
cooked
like that.
some pretty good scenic
No,
out. I
she
remember
did.
that.
She did cook very good food. She did cook very good food.
How have you reconciled the fact that, for the kids' milestones? I mean, you mentioned that for Emma's graduation, it was really painful. And I watched the video of her 18th birthday.
Yes,
You
yes.
threw her an amazing
Yes.
18th birthday bash, and
Yes.
you really gave her the world, James.
Yeah,
Like,
yes, I did. Yes,
And
I tried.
there was a clip there
Yes.
where Ellie
Yeah.
was talking to Emma.
Yeah.
They were both in tears. I don't
Yeah.
know what they were saying,
Yes.
but how have you been able to find a way to find peace in the fact that when your girls get married, when Evan gets married, when they have kids, all those milestones in life, you'll have to hold the fort for all of those milestones.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's something that I've actually just come to accept, at this point, because, well, to be honest, I can't do anything about that
Yeah.
at this point. All I have is to give them as much love as I can. So especially for something like her 18th birthday. That's why I went all out.
Oh my
For
gosh.
something like that. That's why
It
I
looked like a
did as much-
wedding
Yeah, pretty much.
reception.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I did as much as I could.
It was so
for
awesome.
that. Did everything that I
Yeah.
could possibly think of to make that day special for
Yeah.
her. Of course, she'll miss her mom on those days, but I wanted her to feel the love, right, from myself, from all her family. That despite her mom not being there, she's still loved. Like all the kids, that we all still love them very much. You still have a family. They still have a family that loves them very, very, very much.
Grandparents.
Yeah,
and
grandparents,
aunts and uncles.
siblings, cousins, friends who love them and will be there. I'm trying my best that they don't feel alone. And it is sometimes hard. I know they still feel that way off and on. I know they do. But at the same time, it's like I'm just trying to prepare them. I prepare them for those moments and do the best to make sure that at the very least, that I'm here for them, and I'll be there at all those moments, all those milestones in their life. Yeah, you know what I mean?
No, change, not all changes are fun.
No.
Sometimes, and especially in this case, change is painful. But change is also a chance for growth.
Yeah.
What would you say you learned about yourself?
Well, it's something I always knew. I knew it's one thing to know that with God anything is possible, and now I lived it in that sense, right? So far, so good. So far, so good. We are 4 years out from when everything happened, and we're still here. We're still here. We're still safe. We're still happy. I feel like I was able to make it through this far. Of course, not without any scars. Lots of scars to get through.
Battle scars.
Battle scars. Huge battle scars to get through everything. But it's that strength that God gave me. We talk about strength. If there's proof that God gives strength, this is it. Because I've seen the opposite. I've like in terms of friends and stuff that really fell apart when things like this happened. I'm still here. I'm still here. My kids are still here, and we're doing our best every single day. And there's nothing more I could ask for than that.
What would your advice be for those who are in your exact shoes, now finding themselves being a single mom or a single dad? And would your advice be in helping their children navigate through grief and the different stages of grief?
Right. Yes, absolutely. My advice to parents, or a parent who lost their partner, again, it's tough. It's very, very tough. But hold on to your kids. Nobody asked for it, right? Nobody ever asks for a parent to leave, especially your kids. They're going to go through some hard times. They're going to go through some rough times. This is the number one time to be as understanding as you can be. Every day gets a little bit better every day. We're a very jokey family, right? We laugh a lot. And that's one thing I love. It's laughing. You know that.
Yes.
Yes,
that. You have a very hearty laugh.
Yes, that's one thing I could see. My kids get their humor from me.
Yeah.
They do laugh a lot. They do make jokes a lot. They make fun of each other in a loving way. In a loving way. They do that a lot. We make fun of each other.
So humor is still a very crucial part in the grieving process.
Absolutely. If we can make each other laugh, it does help a lot. Yes.
Always make time for some joy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Joy doesn't end, when it comes to that, right?
There are those that say you don't really get over it.
Yeah.
You move through it.
Well, that's exactly it. That's what I say. God doesn't take away the grief. He teaches you how to live with the grief, right? He teaches you how to keep living life, even though you have that grief inside of you. And that's why I tell kids, I'm never going to tell you forget your mom. Of course not, right? Remember your mom. Remember her example. Remember everything she's done for you and how much she sacrificed her life so that you would have a better life, Of course, she, and knowing my wife, she wouldn't want them to live in grief, She wants them to have a better life. Of course, she wouldn't want them to forget her. Of course not. And they'll never forget her. But of course, she'd want them to have the best life they can, even without her there. Even for myself. And I tell that to kids, even if I'm not here, I want you to have a great life still, and do the best you can every day. Right. So it's so again, that grief never goes away, but it's more like a remembrance though, more than anything else. It's not really grief anymore. That's remembering. Right?
I like that.
Yeah. Grief is such a hard word. Right?
Yeah.
It's just a hard word.
It feels like grief is, you're more prone to being stuck.
Yeah.
But remembrance?
Yeah. You're remembering.
Moving forward, how do you see change? Like with everything that you've been through, what would you say is the purpose for change and the growth that comes with it?
Well, everything's a test. Everything, everything is to prove our faith in God. Everything we do every single day. Change is a way to make us stronger in our faith, to make us closer to God. Sometimes that's why He allows us
a reason.
Yes, exactly.
To get closer to God.
Exactly. Gives reason. So if you're complacent and everything's perfect, sometimes people don't feel they even need God.
Exactly.
If that's the case, God's like, no, I'm so. As hard as it is, that's why we kind of need to embrace change. We need to embrace change because that's how we're going to get through things. That's how God is going to show, okay, it's okay to embrace it. It's okay. It's going to hurt now, but He's here for us, to hold us, to help us every single day. And that's really what gives us the hope. That really is what gives us the strength, the peace, Like how do you get through all that and still have peace? Feel like everything's going to be all right, I couldn't without Him. It's okay to be afraid of change. Of course it is. Sometimes it's hard.
Nobody wants to be uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the thing. But that's how you grow.
We're gonna end our episode with a few rapid fire questions.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
All right. First character you ever drew?
Hercules. There's a cartoon in Canada of Hercules, and he was stronger than 10 men. But it was a Canadian cartoon.
Hercules. I know. Is that a different? Is that a Canadian Hercules?
It's a Canadian Hercules.
Okay. All right. One art supply you cannot live without.
Oh, that would be. Let's see here. I would go because there's a couple that would fit into that category. If I had to choose just one, it would be my fine liner. So it's like a pen, my pen, my pen. The specific one, I've been sponsored by pen companies before, but they're called fine liners, right?
Okay, early bird or night owl when creating?
Early bird, all day, every day.
All day, every day.
Yes.
Starting at 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Yes.
Best advice your parents eventually gave you?
Best advice? Did they give me advice? Don't keep that. Don't keep that. Don't keep that in there. Don't keep that in. I'm just joking, Bob. I'm just joking. You gave me lots of good advice. Well, I would say it's more not necessarily what they said, but what they did for me, right? Like without my parents, I wouldn't be in church today. But they were the only one. They were always the ones to say, you got to perform first.
Your
type
faith
thing.
comes
Yes,
from them.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I would say, yeah.
Most unexpected fan interaction.
Oh, that's an easy one. That was at Time to Draw a few years ago in San Jose, where one of my fans just showed up.
That's right.
Out
I
of the blue.
remember that.
Out of the blue. I was not expecting anyone to show, but
They came to a kid's show.
They came to a kids show in a church.
Yes,
Church. I
yes.
was not expecting that. His name's Michael. I actually known him for a while.
Yeah.
He was around when I was doing this Star Wars mural, so I call him one of the OG fans. And he found the church. He brought his daughter. I know. Remember that? We gave him the thing. So
Yes.
I would say
and
that.
he just saw from your post that you were in the area.
Yes.
And
He came. Right. And,
3 words. Ooh, this is good. 3 words your kids would use to describe you.
oh.
So 1 word per kid.
1 word per kid. Okay. I would say funny, I think. Okay. He would say they like my singing. So they say, singer, and loud. I'd say loud.
I was going to say that was my first word.
Loud. That was your first word. Loud.
Funny, loud singer.
That's not singer.
Okay, and lastly, finish the sentence. Change is.
Change is necessary. Let's say that, or important. Let's say that necessary, important. We need it. We definitely need it because it just makes us better at the end of the day. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, my friend James, thank you so much for sitting down.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I've known you for a long time, but there's so much I learned
yes
about you
Yeah.
from sitting down with you. And I am so inspired by your strength, how you're raising your kids despite it all, and really how you and Ruth both raised your kids. But really, I am just so proud of what you're doing with your life, despite everything that you've been through. It's never stopped you from being who you are, from being the servant of God that you are, and for just being joyful. Like you can never be in a bad mood when you're with James Raiz. You can never.
James ended our conversation with 3 words. Change is necessary. Not comfortable, not easy, but necessary. Because here's what he learned in the space between Marvel premieres and midnight prayers. We don't become who we're meant to be in the comfortable moments. We become who we're meant to be in the moments that require us to hold on when everything in us wants to let go. If James's story moved you, and if you know someone walking through their own valley, share this episode. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to remind each other, you're not alone, and God's not done with your story yet. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and remember, we're all works in progress, and that's exactly where God wants us. Thanks for listening, and may your change uplift you.